This is Dr. Otto Octavius. Welcome to New York. What's left of it?
Hi everyone, I'm here with Brett from McFarlane Toys, a company I actually grew up with when I was much younger, back in elementary school, collecting the old Spawn toys. So I'm always happy to see like the name still around and still working on stuff, developing. But I want to talk to you primarily about a brick building set, which is not something most people will associate with McFarlane Toys offhand. So you guys have got this very unique brick building system going on with The Walking Dead. What stands out about it to me is it's a brick building, but you end up with kind of more of a diorama at the end. Could you tell me what led to this whole idea in the first place, like to mix the two things together?
Well, you know, here at McFarlane Toys, we've been doing, action figures for a long time, and we've been really good at it. And one of the things that we took pride in is, nailing, the likeness. So Todd McFarlane, who started McFarlane Toys and created Spawn and a lot of Spawn toys that people are familiar with, he saw an opportunity. He said, I can make this figure look like the guy who's playing this character. Yeah. So he's been doing it a long time. So now he went to the aisle again and he saw building sets, and he said, I'm looking at these building sets, and I can make these building sets not only look good, but have that artistic flair that McFarlane Toys is known for. And that's basically what we're doing with the building sets for The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So you've got like your usual stud peg connections between the bricks, right, but we've got like a textured wood look, say, for the floor of this diorama set. So
absolutely. So if you can see here, so the pieces come apart, everything breaks down. So you see here, right here, we got the governor's chair. So this governor's chair actually breaks down to about 15 pieces to create
15?
governor.
Okay.
So everything breaks down into the individual set pieces. Of course, we had them assembled for the show, but you can see in there how it even breaks down, even the little side parts. So it comes down and creates all these small pieces.
Wow.
So you get that full build experience. So it's not just, a diorama that you take out of the package and there it is. You actually get to build something, and everything breaks down. From the figures themselves to the environments, the walls. You can see the fish tanks here, and even those break down into individual pieces.
Very cool.
So you can arrange them and kind of customize it to however you want it to look.
That was my big question about this going in, was how much brick building there was and how many, I guess you could say, prefabricated components there were. Like was that chair being that many pieces is a surprise to me. I was not expecting that.
Right. Yeah, so you can see here, I got the box for the governor's room. And that one actually is 292 pieces. So it's a significant build.
Yeah, it's a $30 price point, right? For 292.
Yeah, so it's going to be around $30, and it's going to be available at Toys R Us next week.
So that's kind of in line with, I guess what you could call it kind of the market standard for it is you take the price take the part number divided by 10, you roundabouts get the price.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because it is a crowded market nowadays. Like you've got Lego, of course. You've got Mega Bloks who've been around for a while. You've got stuff like kre-o and Ionics hanging out in here. So it looks like every one of those companies, it seems, tries to find that thing that will give them their own unique spark, their own way of standing out. And it looks like with you guys, it's to combine the building play with a very artistic end result.
Well, I mean, that's Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
He's an artist at heart. He's been that way since the dawn of time. And so when you're looking at a set, we feel like we have a competitive advantage with Todd. So he leads the design and development of all this stuff, and that's why it's got that artistic flair. It's almost like the perfect blend of building sets and kind of like your model sets, where you have it and you get it and it's really highly detailed. Yeah. So this kind of gives you that without having to have the patience of putting a model set together.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, the whole building aspect is, for some people, like 80% of the enjoyment you get out of these things. So it feels like just knowing that parts count, it feels like that is kind of there for some of this stuff. In terms of like customizability, now this is probably more of a cross-play thing than like an internal thing, but I'm seeing stuff like, the wood planks on the governor's room. Say you create a brick-built structure from some other system, you've got studs all on the outlying edges of this structure. It feels like I could use the wood paneling to enhance the look of a fully brick-built structure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is fully compatible with not only our brands, but other competitive brands. So, I mean, you can interchange them. And the cool thing is as you can see on a lot of these sets, so you were mentioning like the wood flooring. So it's not one of those things where, you know, you're stamping a design on there. It's actually textured, and you can feel like the grain of the wood into each of these pieces. So it just adds, again, that artistic flair to it, and a little bit more of that realism that I think people are looking for.
And I'd assume that means like a lot of these sets have uniquely tooled bricks for each set. Like those wood panels, for instance, are not present whatsoever on a roadside set.
Yeah. So you're always going to have common pieces, you know, pieces that you use throughout your building sets. But each one has a lot of different pieces that are very unique to that particular building set. Things that add the characteristics, and that's what really gives it the realism. So, say for instance, I'll show you here. We have the governor's nightstand. So, I mean, there's no pieces on here that you really translate to another building set, but to add that realism and, you know, that authenticity from the scene, you have to have, you know, these kind of props.
Yeah. But yeah, like the core of it being like, you know, 2x1 bricks, say, making up that wall. That's really cool. And we didn't comment about this on camera, but I was kind of impressed that you've got that LED system built into each brick that makes up the bottom of those shelves.
Yeah.
So that's not like just a one-piece electronic thing that's running through there. That's like, you know, it's built in rather than...
Yeah, so let me see if I can take this out and I can show you. So yeah, so you can see here, and again, we have the studs that it goes into the floor to connect it, but here you can see, if you cover it up, you can kind of see the LEDs a little bit better. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's 3 LED lights built into each panel, and then the panels break down, the fish tanks break down, so when you get down, you actually get down to the actual piece. Each one has an independent source, battery source. It comes with the battery, so as soon as you get it, you can rock and roll.
Very cool. Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing it's like not just what you've got here now, but it feels like this whole idea is also ripe for growth. Like you know, just like going into you know, a second wave of stuff. Like how more ambitious you could get with what you're doing. Like you've got LEDs in some of this wave 1 stuff. I can only assume like there's at least the idea to push it even farther.
Well, I think with each series, with whatever we're doing, whether it's our action figures or our deluxe figures or anything else, even our, you know, we've done like role-playing items and things like that, we always try to push the envelope. So every series, every new piece, we try to go further on the artistic detail, go further on the playability, and then of course that artistic accuracy that people are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, like I see, you know, down here we've got in future builds, you've got the camper, right? And like, does the roof come off this thing? Like, is there an interior, or is it?
Yeah, so it has panels so you can actually open into the inside, so it all completely fully builds up. And I mean, again, you need that so you can actually have that iconic scene. A lot of the stuff that takes place with the Winnebago is internal. So, and one of the things we're doing like the RV walker, so you can reenact those scenes. We have Dale, you know, standing up there keeping lookout in his chair and umbrella. I mean, and then again, it's those details that matter, and that's what we want to bring to these building sets.
It's kind of cool to see that you could take that, you know, that governor's room and really break it down to look like a mid-play, mid-built brick structure. So looking forward to seeing how things go with this line, like just overall. About how many pieces or how many products for this have you got lined up for release so far? Like how many sets?
So next week, Toys R Us is releasing the Daryl and the Chopper and the Governor Room building sets. A little bit closer to holiday time, we should start seeing some of the other things. We're going to have figure packs, which have 5 figures in a pack. We're going to have blind bags, which will be individual figures. And then we'll also have the prison tower, which the gate and the fence are included with that. And that's about 620 pieces. It's a very impressive build. And that will be, again, that will be that holiday time.
So that's kind of like your big item, like your centerpiece item.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is you can get 2 or 3 and they build off of each other. So it's not one of those things where you build one and you set it right next to another one. They can actually build it and customize it to whatever you want that scene to be.
Any chance, I mean, obviously you can't say too much, but does this feel like it's going to be confined to Walking Dead, or do you think you might branch it out to any other licenses you guys have, like sports ones, or?
You never know. I mean, right now we're really focused on The Walking Dead. That's a huge property for us, and people are just asking for more and more and more. And as you can see, some of the future builds that we're working on, the cell blocks and the Winnebago, and we just really want to kind of create that universe. And the nice thing about it too is this Walking Dead environment is cast driven. You know, the characters really drive it, and so with the building sets, that allows us to do so many characters. So you can see that in this first line, we're doing upwards almost 30 figures just within Series 1. So that's a huge universe for people to play with. And then from then on, we'll just keep branching out.
And you guys are doing the blind bag thing, which was going to be my last question. But it sounds like you've really got the bases covered for, you know, setting up the way that construction sets are nowadays, like hitting all those different targets. Well, thanks very much for your time. And you know, we'll see how this goes, I guess, after going into holiday season. But have a good rest of the Comic-Con, man.
Thank you.